Hello, I'm James McKinney, the creator and host of the Startup Story podcast. Each week, I sit with a successful founder to hear their entrepreneurial journey that led them to build the incredible organizations that they have. With close to 100 episodes and almost 100,000 listeners across the UK, Australia, and the United States, we have been fortunate to have some of the most amazing founders join the show. Founders such as Ben Chestnut, co-founder of Mailchimp, and Randy Zuckerberg, the founder of Zuckerberg Media and the creator of Facebook Live, as well as Christina Stembel of Farm Girl Flowers. Well, when the team at the Subscription Trade Association asked me what I thought about the idea of providing an interview for SubSummit, I knew exactly who I wanted you to hear from because I know just how valuable his startup can be for your business. That founder is Adam Robinson of Get Emails. Get Emails is an identity resolution product, and Adam will go into detail as to exactly what that is. But what you need to know right now from one entrepreneur to another is that Get Emails helps you identify and market to all the anonymous website traffic that you receive. How the technology works is really quite remarkable, but we don't cover it here in this interview. You'll have to listen to his entire episode of The Startup Story by visiting the startupstory.co/Get Emails. The reason I knew without hesitation that Adam Robinson was the interview that I wanted to bring to SubSummit was because of how critical it is for brands like yours and mine to know who is visiting our site and to obtain ways to market to them directly. The other reason I wanted to bring Adam direct to you was because of how misunderstood the email marketing and opt-in laws are. In this video, Adam is going to truly lay out the various email marketing laws like GDPR and CAN spam and CASL. Once you understand what the laws truly say, you will then see just how valuable Get Emails is for your business. But before we jump into the interview, I want to let you know that Adam is offering all SubSummit attendees a chance to use Get Emails at a discounted rate. But it's Adam's gift to give, so you'll have to wait until the end of his interview to hear all about it. Now let's jump into this incredibly valuable interview with Adam Robinson, founder of Get Emails. Adam, thank you so much for joining us for this SUBTA Summit. I know everyone watching is going to be excited to hear the solution you have with Get Emails. But before we get there, can we just walk everyone through how you even got into the SaaS industry?
Sure. I graduated college in 2003, and I moved to New York City to work for an investment bank called Lehman Brothers. And really what got me into tech was the guys that I was living with in this apartment, they started Vimeo, the video sharing platform that's now huge, like right in front of my eyes. And I lived with these guys for like years, So I had this burning desire to sort of recreate a life like they did. And coincidentally, I was working at Lehman Brothers and trading credit default swaps, which like in 2008 brought down the financial system in the place that I was working for.
There was a movie about that.
Right, yeah, The Big Short. So it wasn't that difficult. I had saved some money, thankfully. It wasn't that difficult to step away from that after all that happened and start on this like incredibly long road to becoming a tech entrepreneur. And that at the time, and I still believe, subscription, SaaS, B2B, it's a great space.
So now let's jump into Get Emails, because this is what I have told so many people about. We had you on the podcast where we unpacked your entire startup story on how you got to Get Emails. But for those watching this for the very first time ever hearing about Get Emails, what is Get Emails?
So Get Emails is an identity resolution product. What does that mean in layman's terms? You put our script on your website and we can identify around a third of your anonymous website visitors, even if they don't fill out any kind of form. And we can send you their email address along with their first and last name and postal record if you want it. And you can legally, this is important, legally in a compliant way, retarget them over email or direct mail. And bring these customers back to your site, and send them offers. If you're a publisher, just send them more content. Whatever your business model is, however you monetize eyeballs, you can use our data to grow your audience and grow that monetization effort.
So I've been using Get Emails for probably 3 months now on the StartUpStory.co website, and it is remarkable. And I know a lot of people are probably watching this thinking, okay, you said legally, but my understanding of GDPR is that there's no way this is legal because you have to opt in. So right here and now, let's unpack the legalities of this because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as when it comes to email and opt-in marketing. So can you talk about all the things we need to know from a US, Europe, and maybe even Canada perspective?
There's a few big things to talk about. One, and this is for the US only. Keep in mind, our database is only the US only. In the US, there's a big misunderstanding. Canned spam is actually an opt-out regulation. It's not an opt-in regulation. People think that, well, they've been told actually by several different organizations who have several different interests that you have to have an opt-in to market to people in the US. That is completely untrue from a legal standpoint. You just need to have an opt-out link and you can market to anybody you want. There's new legislation called Ccpa that is more strict than canned spam, and there's a big misunderstanding there too. So in Europe, the legislation's GDPR. Now, GDPR, the European legislation, says that you must have express consent to collect data online. That's an opt-in legislation. Mm-hmm. Get emails doesn't work in Europe, but that's okay. It's only a US database. European companies can even use it in the US so long as, just because there's no crossover. So people assume that since CCPA is more strict than canned spam and GDPR is more strict than canned spam, they equal each other. That's not true at all. CCPA says nothing about express consent for data collection. It's an opt-out legislation also. You have to change your privacy policy. We tell you how to do that. But for CCPA, get emails is 100% okay. Also, Canada, you can't do it in Canada because CASL is express consent for data collection on the internet too. But USA, it's totally fine. For the foreseeable future, if there's a national policy that emulates CCPA, get emails will remain fine.
I think within the framework of marketing, right? Because we're all about marketing our products. We have this idea that the best user acquisition is going to be the brands that we have an affinity towards, right? But really, if you're on our website, you are building a connection with us, and now we're going to be gathering your information anonymously by leveraging get emails. So in order to just not to be perceived as spam, what are some tactics you're seeing, and what are some data points you're seeing for brands that are using get emails?
Sure. So we break our users really up into two categories. One, e-commerce. Two, publishers. I'll talk about e-commerce first. Okay. Generally speaking, e-commerce uses this for abandonment emails, right? If you're browsing or you have something in your cart, you can use get emails to send out either that cart, we have the technology to do it, or just a generic sort of retargeting email. Here's 15% off, come back to the website. Interestingly, around 3/4 of the profit from get emails comes after the initial warm-up series from just retargeting people over email over time. We just added order tracking a few weeks ago, so we have a lot more visibility into exactly what these emails are producing. It's actually pretty hard to see it either in Shopify or in the Klaviyo or whatever these guys are using. But that's really interesting. And one of our customers, Cariuma, who's they love our product, we're responsible for around 20% of their total sales right now. They've been a customer for 7 months. So just to give you an idea, it's like this snowball that happens since most of the purchases occur after that initial warm-up series. You're just growing your pile of emails that will monetize over time. And it kind of makes sense because the nature by which you procured these email addresses, they're a little bit colder than a normal email would be. So it just kind of takes longer to warm them up. On the publisher side, there's a couple different ways people are using these email addresses. One, they're sending evergreen content to an email address once they capture it, just automatically a 3 to 5 part warm-up series, and then adding them to a newsletter. Or if they send a daily newsletter, it works to just mix them in to whatever that daily newsletter is, and all of that. And just for a rough idea, people are seeing, generally speaking, higher engagement than their house email list. So most of our customers get between a 20 and 30% open rate. I'm not sure what yours is, but it's pretty strong.
It's not there, but I'm going to be full transparency. I'm still trying to really figure out all this email marketing stuff. So I'm to be fully honest. Well, that's on my side.
And I think also if you have the ability to sort of mix it in with a strong email marketing program, that helps our data a lot. Whereas if this is the only thing you're sending to, then it probably does a little bit, it's a little weaker.
Yeah.
But one of our customers who's a publisher, his goal is to basically build his active clicker base, meaning people who are clicking around his website because he knows he monetizes a percentage of that click or those clicks. And he is acquiring from us active clickers for the same price as he was getting opt-ins before Get Emails, who had performed no action, And this is a person who's literally he was paying like $1 for opt-ins, and he gets active clickers from us for 80 cents. So I don't know what the math is. At his size, he's paying like 15 cents a contact, and 1 out of 5 are clicking or something like that. So,
I love it.
So yeah, that's some data for you.
Gathering anonymous traffic is so foreign to so many brands. I mean, really, until I heard about Get Emails, I had no idea this even existed. And for those who want to hear how this exists, check out Adam's episode of the Startup Story at thestartupstory.co/get emails. You will hear his episode. You can see it on all major podcast platforms. But the reason this exists is even more remarkable. But for those brands that are considering, well, I want to use Get Emails to bring some of that anonymous traffic data into our marketing campaigns, what are some tactics that you would suggest when employing Get Emails into their ecosystem?
Sure. So there's a sliding scale depending on how advanced you want to go, but I'll just throw out a few that everybody should do. We populate data in real time to your email service provider. Highly suggested that you send immediately. So just an autoresponder that goes out right when you get that email. And if you're an e-commerce store, it's an offer with a coupon. If you're a publisher, some sort of evergreen content, maybe a welcome email. Thanks for coming by the site, something like that. But get an email out quickly. Make a 4 or 5 email series. And it can be anything. It really doesn't matter. You're just trying to get engagement from people. If you know what your best content is, put that out there. And then I think with the e-commerce emails, you can literally just keep the same coupon and make the email look different, and it'll seem new. And then move your opens and clickers, and you can do this with almost every email marketing campaign also. After that 5 email series, move the openers and clickers into your newsletter list. And if they didn't open and click after 3 to 5 emails, just unsubscribe them.
Okay.
And that's it's kind of advanced, but it's pretty easy to do. And if you want to use the product and ask us how to do it, we'll literally do it for you. It's just a little, drag and drop automation that all the email service providers have.
So what about those that don't want to capture the PII? I know Get Emails has a lot of different product offerings. I know about the anonymous email traffic capturing because that's my personal use case, but I don't want to shortchange this opportunity for everyone in the subscription space to understand the significance of what Get Emails has. So can you speak to some of the other offerings?
Sure. So there's a couple things that some bigger customers aren't really that interested in doing. Number one is some of them don't want to actually send the emails, and they really don't want to collect the email themselves and be responsible for it. Just some are for whatever, globally GDPR compliant or whatever.
Yeah.
We actually have a way for big brands that we can send the offers out through our own email service provider, and the brand doesn't ever have to touch the email. Comes in as a hash.
Okay.
It's pretty cool because huge companies don't want to do that. Another solution that isn't our core offering, but is a new feature that we built that's totally different. We do identity resolution in a completely different way. We identify up to about 90% of the anonymous traffic, and this is a custom audience building feature for Facebook and Google. We actually can pinpoint the hottest visitors on your website. So for e-commerce people about to convert, and it's the most engaged people for publishers. And we can seed a lookalike audience that actually beats your website visitor lookalike audience that Facebook does by 30 or 40%. We call it get audiences. And that has nothing to do with PII whatsoever. It's just prospecting on social using identity resolution. And we just literally send segments into your Facebook and Google account.
Can you unpack that a bit more for those watching? Because I mean, I think a lot of us understand the Facebook pixel, but you're going to be sending us lookalike audiences inside of our Facebook account that we can then market specifically to.
Well, we'll send you an audience of the hottest people on your website. We'll send you the best people, and it will exclude all the bots, all the junk, all the people who can't buy through a bunch of stuff we do in the back end. You then turn around and build your lookalike audience off of that.
Got it.
And that lookalike audience is better than a lookalike audience of everybody, which is their pixel.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's your best people and it excludes the worst people. So you're just starting from a better place.
That's incredible.
If that makes sense.
That's absolutely. So I mean, again, as we're talking, I'm seeing all these different tools beyond just the get emails, which is what I know of your product. I love the get audiences. You know, what is the reason that you are building all of these products? Because it sounds like, I mean, you're building such tremendous resources for small businesses and for brands. Is that a passion point of yours?
I really like this market. I started off in the email marketing market. My other company is called Robley Email Marketing, and it's competing with Mailchimp, who's just the best company in the world as far as I am concerned, having competed with them for like 7 or 8 years. And that market was so hard, so mature. There's so many resources fighting over the customers. And this one, identity resolution, to me, it feels like probably what email marketing felt like in 2008 when Mailchimp went freemium.
Yeah.
There's a couple players. The products aren't really that great. There's no just like definitive market leader in this stuff. Like most people hadn't even really heard of it before. I mean, who in 2008 had really heard of email marketing? Like not very many people probably. I mean, I know I hadn't, So I love this space, and I think there's a lot of underserved segments, and there's just a lot of product growth that needs to occur. There's it's just such a big problem. Who's on your website, right? Yeah. I mean, it starts there, right? Who's on your website? It's like, I want to know that. You want to know that.
Yes.
Everybody wants to know that. And it's like, okay, once we figured out who they are, given the constraints that the buyer has, if somebody doesn't want to touch PII, it's like, okay, we'll do the get audiences thing, or, we'll send the emails for you. There's just a million ways to go to solve this problem that that everybody has, So that's what I like about that, the market.
I love it. You mentioned Mailchimp. We've had Ben Chestnut on the show before. He's an incredible founder. Their story is unbelievable. But let's talk about some of the integrations that you have with for Get Emails. What for those who are watching? I mean, Mailchimp may be their provider, maybe it's Klaviyo. Like, who are your integration points for Get Emails?
So it's almost every email service provider, email marketing company that you've ever heard of. There's a couple of them that haven't let us build an integration out to them, like Infusionsoft and Aweber, and that's just, I think it's the nature of their customer base. They don't want to be seen encouraging this type of list building because they have a lot of the underbelly of the internet kind of using them, if that makes sense. But our most popular integration is the Klaviyo integration, and it's just fantastic. I mean, if anybody listening to this goes and signs up, you can do it self-serve. You will be fully integrated with Klaviyo in real time, and all of this, like, we'll take in your Klaviyo list, and we'll make sure that we don't send you emails that you already have. You can set up a pixel on your email collection widget to make sure if someone signs up for your newsletter, we don't also give you that email, and it's all just completely seamless. Like, you just go and get your API key or whatever, and then you put it in our software, and it just does it all.
So as we close our time together within the SubTA Summit, how can those watching, or what offering do you have for those watching, for them to come and test out Get Emails?
Sure. We're dying to have this audience come try our product and let us know what you think. If you go today to Get Emails and sign up, put in offer code SUBTA25, and you'll get 25% off your first 3 months.
That's awesome. And I can assure you, for those watching, like in those 3 months, you're going to capture hundreds. And depending on your site traffic, it could be thousands of emails.
Millions.
If you're a big one, it could be millions. I mean, it is an unbelievable product offering. Adam, thank you for joining us for SUBTA Summit.
Thanks a lot. It's great being here.
I hope you found this content helpful, and I hope you're going to take Adam up on his incredibly generous offer to get 25% off your first 3 months by using the promo code SUBTA25 when you sign up. I've been using Get Emails for a few months now and have brought in hundreds of new listeners and members into the Startup Story ecosystem. Do not pass Adam up on this offer. I say it in every episode because I believe it. Entrepreneurs support other entrepreneurs, and we are here to support you. I hope you enjoy the rest of SubSummit 2020.